Good morning, Finley Farms, Falcons, and happy Thursday. Today is March 6th. We do have a birthday today. Happy birthday to Calvin W. in Miss Shipley's class. And then over spring break on Thursday, March 20th, happy birthday to Jasenia M. in Miss Myers-Newsom's class and Addison K. in Miss Roy's class. I hope you all have wonderful birthdays. We do have open checkout today from 1:45 to 2:45. Please make sure you bring your badge. Mrs. Henderson wants to remind you that if you are participating in Battle of the Books, the next battle is April 2nd. That is the one that will determine the team to go represent us at the district finals. So make sure you are getting that reading in over spring break to have all of those books read. The mystery reader from yesterday was Mrs. Anson. Everyone who turned in a guess was correct. We drew a winning class out of all the entries, and the winner is Miss Coleman's class. Great job identifying those masked mystery readers. Stay tuned at the end of announcements today for our next mystery reader. Please make sure you check out the Lost and Found. It is overflowing with jackets, water bottles, and lunch boxes. We do need to clear that out. We had to add an extra rack of storage there, so please make sure you check that out and take your belongings. I have a color run update. As of this morning, we have raised $21,978 of our $25,000 goal. If we get to that $25,000, remember, I get to be either a human taco or a human pizza. Right now, the votes stand at Team Pizza has 94 votes and Team Taco has 118 votes. Keep voting and raising money, and let's get to that goal tomorrow. Our top 3 classes for donations are Miss S's class, Miss Martirana's class, and Miss Jeffrey's class. The top 3 students for donations are, in first place, Jolene A. in Miss S's class, Amelia S. in Miss Martirana's class, and we have a 3-way tie for third place. Jax R. in Miss Anderson's class, Maya R. in Miss Jeffrey's class, and Jackson H. in Miss Lehman's class are all tied for third. Keep up the great work, Falcons. As always, Falcons, my expectation is that you are showing respect, integrity, service, and engagement all around campus, from your classrooms to the hallways, the cafeteria, the restrooms, the playground, and even on the bus. Have a terrific Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you at our quarterly awards this morning.
Terrence fell out of his chair. He was turned into an apple. Mauricia tried to run away. She was halfway to the door as Mrs. Gorf's right ear began to wiggle. When she reached the door, Mrs. Gorf's left ear wiggled. Mauricia opened the door and had one foot outside when Mrs. Gorf stuck out her tongue. Mauricia became an apple. Mrs. Gorf picked up the apple from the floor and put it on her desk with the others. Then a funny thing happened. Mrs. Gorf turned around and fell over a piece of chalk. The 3 Erics laughed. They were then turned into apples. Mrs. Gorf had a dozen apples on her desk. Joe, John, Todd, Stephen, Kathy, Paul, Nancy, Terrence, Mauricia, and the 3 Erics. Eric Fry, Eric Bacon, and Eric Evans. Luis, the yard teacher, walked into the classroom. He had missed the children at recess. He had heard that Mrs. Gorf was a mean teacher, so he came up to investigate. He saw the 12 apples on Mrs. Gorf's desk. I must be wrong, he thought. She must be a good teacher if so many children bring her apples. When he walked back down to the playground. Then, the next day, a dozen more children were turned into apples. Luis, the yard teacher, came back into the room. He saw 24 apples on Mrs. Gorf's desk. There were only 3 children left in the class. She must be the best teacher in the world, he thought. By the end of the week, all of the children were apples. Mrs. Gorf was very happy. Now I can go home, she said. I don't have to teach anymore. I won't have to walk up 30 flights of stairs ever again. You're not going anywhere, shouted Todd. He jumped off the desk and bopped Mrs. Gorf on the nose.